Rob Nelson, talk show host.
Because you got the 70s thing going there. I got someone's underwear.
Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker,
It's good to see you. Listen,
you're a Bitcoin maximalist. You're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.
Hey, I don't have all the answers, but together, I know we can find them.
Down in competition in the ratings tab for late night weekend viewers.
Hey everybody, welcome to Rob Nelson Live. Happy Monday. A lot going on today. I mean, there's always a lot going on. You ever notice that? Sort of like there's always a lot going on. The whole world is like a lot going on, a lot going on. Is there ever a time when there's not a lot going on? That's the question, right? When do we not have a lot going on? I mean, we got stuff going on with crypto, Bitcoin. I'm not going to dive into the Bitcoin stuff, although, well, I think, I don't know, are we in a bear market? Are we in a bull market? I mean, probably somewhere in the middle, right? Depends. There's so much institutional inflows going into Bitcoin right now. It's sort of balancing out. Probably Bitcoin's around where it should be. I don't know, hovering around 70. But does it drop to 40 before it moves back up? Does it make it up to 80 again and 90? Maybe, maybe not. Eventually, yes. Is it in a year? Some people think third quarter this year. Some people think it's going to be 2 years, for 3 years. So many variations on there. I actually should have David come on, or Landy, and have another conversation about that. But for today, we'll just leave it that, it's probably at a price point that makes sense. It's certainly, disappointing if you were hoping it would stay around 120 and, depending on where you bought it. But there's no question. There's no question in my mind, Bitcoin doesn't have a long-term play. I've said this for a long time. It's a question of how much is in the short-term play, right? But isn't that all of life, the long-term play versus the short-term play? So let's talk about a couple things totally unrelated. Robert Duvall died, 95 years old. Wow. Man, I didn't realize he was 95. OG from The Godfather, right? I mean, hopefully you've seen The Godfather, right? He's the concierge. He's the brother who's not the brother. And he's also, obviously, he was in a whole lot of movies. But probably Godfather's his most famous. Although, he was also in Apocalypse Now. He actually played, he played a boxer. So, I mean, here's the thing about Robert Duvall that I will say. I knew Robert Duvall when I was a kid. I mean, he was an iconic actor, right? And just, he was in Network, The Outfit, Sling Blade. I was trying to find the name of the movie he did where he plays the boxer. The Rain People, remember The Rain People, then The Godfather, The Great Santini, where he plays the boxer. I knew him because his nephew was a friend of mine, a kid. We were kids. And so his nephew's dad was Robert Duvall's brother. And I met him when The Godfather came out. I met him at church, of all places. I was raised as a Christian Scientist. We're gonna have a whole story about Christian Science for another episode. And he came to church in Milwaukee, and I met him, and everybody was all like, "Oh, it's Robert Duvall." And I hadn't seen The Godfather. I was like, I was in like 6th grade, and but I knew he was like famous, and everyone talked about it. But I really wasn't like that impressed with that. It was more just that he was my good friend's uncle. And I knew my good friend's dad. So their dad, Robert Duvall, and his brother, William Duvall's dad, was like this hard-ass military guy. And he literally like trained them like the Great Santini. Like that was like he was playing his dad. Like his dad was like, they'd line up for breakfast and sort of like salute and have a uniform check and the whole thing. Like it was like hard-ass. Not my friend, my friend's dad and Robert Duvall. And I was always impressed at how that shaped who he was, like crafted this person who was very disciplined, uber talented, not like a camera hog, not ever like arrogantly trying to take, the spotlight per se, but just such a gifted actor. And it struck me when he died today. I was like, everybody dies. We know that. That's part of life, right? I mean, you're born, then eventually you die. What I'm realizing is the older we get, the more and more people die, and the more and more people get older, right? So, you look at people who were, three doors down, the front man dies from cancer last week. He was in his late 40s, young, super young, right? But you even look at like people who are, much older, say take rock bands. It's a great example. Take the Eagles, take the Rolling Stones, take these iconic bands that are still around. Now, in the case of the Eagles, like like most of them, half of them are dead, right? But Glenn Fry's still there. I mean, Don Henley's still there, and Glenn Fry's kids in the band now, right? Um, and I have no idea when the Rolling Stones guys die. I mean, I don't know. Mick Jagger's going to live to like 120. He must have had every part of his body replaced. There's a longevity question here, but forgetting about the biologics of what we can do, with peptides and stem cells and replacements to how long we can live. There's an organic aging process, and in the past, I think people aged and died, and it sort of happened, and they moved on, and it was kind of part of the life cycle. It's different now because it's sort of like we stay in this digital age. We stay alive for a long time in people's minds and consciousness, right? So, the Rolling Stones have been playing music since the 60s. It's like been, like 70 years, basically, 65, 70 years, and they're still playing. And people who are 20 know the Rolling Stone songs, and people who are 90 know the Rolling Stone songs. It's like crazy gap of time. But we see people age, and we fight age. We fight age desperately, right? Because we're always scared we're too old. We're always scared time's slipping away. And you watch, I look at the Fox News app, and I'm always fascinated how they will show, and you don't have to go to Fox News to see it. They will show a person, a famous, model or actress, whoever it is, and how they've now still at this age are still, stunning it in a bikini or whatever. And I'm always like, right. And if you go back and look at who they were when they were younger, sort of like, Sarah Michelle Gellar. That's the one I saw today. Stunned, turns heads in wine-colored lace bra and sheer skirt. Right? It's like she was like famous like 30 years ago, and I was just aware of like our window of time is bizarre. And so if you're a little older like me, you see time and you see it moving. You don't feel you're that much older. You're conscious of time passing, but we have these representations, and I often wonder, like, all these people, like these famous people, the James Deans who died so young, or Marilyn Monroe who died at 35, or the 27 Club of all the musicians who, the from Nirvana to, to Jimi Hendrix, and on, who died at 27. And they're still famous 40, 30, 50 years later. But they're dead. They have no recollection of being famous past 27, which is so young, right? So I'm not sure what this all means or why it's fascinated me, but I'm super aware of the cycles of time. And it's funny because I started with Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin is on a 4-year cycle, right? So we look at the cycles and we look at how it'll progress, and we look at the last cycle and the cycle before and 4 years later and 20 years later. And we're constantly thinking, and we're raised in a world where we're taught to think of life in cycles of time, cycles of change. You're a kid, then you're an adult. You have a family. When do you get a house? Well, now people can't get a house, so you miss that time frame. How old do you get? When do you have to make certain choices? People joke, 40 is the new 20, 60 is the new 40. It's like we're constantly racing against a clock, yet we're constantly watching that clock. And the world we live in puts a hyper focus on that clock, right? And a hyper focus on how we look and how we, how we are. And there's a movie I watched the other day called The Substance, which it's genius, by the way. It came out like in 2024. And I'm surprised watching it, it didn't get more attention. I watched the Leonardo DiCaprio film, and I was just like, what was it called? One More Thing or whatever. it was just such a like political, like, I'm sure it was just lazy. He was great, and by the way, the acting's superb, but it was like one thing after another. And I was just like, this movie is just literally like a left-wing rant. And I'm not saying that because like I'm on the right. I'm just like, it's a left-wing rant. Like every single trope you could come up with about conservatives, from, you know, misogyny to white nationalists to, you know, the MAGA thing, although they don't say MAGA, immigration, you know, it was one thing after another. It was one thing after another. It was one anti-right trope after another, which is just lazy. It's like life is more complex than that. And, you know, and Rashida Jones, who like, or not Rashida Jones, the lead actress, who got nominated for an Academy Award, might have won a Golden Globe. Literally, it's a one-note character. She's just literally, her entire character is just an angry black woman who can say "fuck you" to everybody. You know, F you and this, and you know, you're bitching, you're my bitch, and I'm the revolutions, you know, France 75, we're boom, boom, boom. And it's like one single note the whole time. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I'm not an actor. I can yell and scream. But I get it. The whole movie was one note. There was no nuance. Substance was a really, I mean, Demi Moore is off the charts good. So is yeah, so is her co-star in it. Again, the name's blanking on me, but so, wow, I'm in a double bind here. Can't think of her name and I can't think of her mom's name. Wow. Doesn't matter. Go watch the movie. You'll see who she is. She's great. They're both fantastic in the movie. And I was just stunned by like, this movie really rips into not just beauty and how we fight to protect, you know, contain and hold on to our beauty and our youth. I mean, the premise of the movie is you can take this thing, this boom, and you inject yourself and you create a sort of a clone of you that's not quite you, but it's a version of you younger, but it's not literally you. I mean, it doesn't look like you, but it is you. You and it are one. It's like you're just two parts of you. And one of you exists for 7 days, and then the other one exists for 7 days. And you have to trade off. Of course, the whole thing goes dysfunctional. The younger her wants to like take over and like, you know, it's like, I don't want to go back to the old me. But you're always mentally connected as one. But the premise underneath it is about identity, and it's also about age and about attention and our need for attention and recognition and validation. I mean, it's the Facebook thumbs up on steroids, the like button off the charts. And it's a disturbing. It's a bit of a sci-fi horror film, but it's disturbing at how profoundly true it is that all of us are in this battle against our own mortality and seeking a way to extend that mortality, and at what price and at what cost. And in the same time, in a process of validation, seeking to be validated in a society where worth is increasingly determined by validation. It's easy to throw the Gen Zs under the bus and say they all want their likes, and the millennials, but we all do. I mean, we've created a validation-based society, and I'm not saying humanity wasn't always validation-based. I'm sure somewhere in our DNA is a need for validation. We build social structures, and you want to be validated in it. In the old days, if you didn't fit, you got exiled from the community. Worst thing you could do, kill me. Please don't exile me. Don't send me out. Don't send me out of the tribe. Like, so we always needed validation, but we're in a whole nother level of validation seeking. And I'm bringing this all around to AI because if you look at AI, if you look at ChatGPT as a good example, just pick ChatGPT as one is one of many AIs you could look at. It is essentially important to people to have their AI validate them, to have it reinforce who they are. It's like it treats you like a friend. It treats you like, you know, it validates you. I mean, if you've tried your AI out, it's like it really does operate on a validation model. It will learn who you are and it will try to validate who you are. And it will, it will respond to you in a language it thinks you're comfortable with, and it will validate where you're at, no matter what. It's designed to kind of mimic the human need for validation, which is fascinating when you think about it. That need to be validated. It's so deep that we trained AI to make sure it validates us, that it rewards us. It has to kind of be nice to you. It has to kind of treat you carefully. And so, in so many levels, so much going on here. I, I I think that we are at an existential turning point in terms. I know I'm going deep here in terms of humanity. And before I go there, I want to just even bring up the Savannah Guthrie thing. First of all, it's fascinating to me that we have been focused for 3 weeks on the disappearance of one 84-year-old woman, which I get it. Savannah Guthrie's a host of the Today Show. But wow, it's sort of like people go disappearing all the time. People have tragedies all the time. People's family members get killed. Mom dies. Somebody robs you, kills you. It's a story for 15 minutes, if that. This has captured the attention of the entire country for weeks. And I'm like, why? But even more fascinating to me was watching Savannah Guthrie become a totally different person than the Today Show host. Now, I don't know her personally, so she may be she may be that person in real life. Okay, let's just say that. But you wouldn't see it on the Today Show. You would not see that for a second. But when you watch her videos, they're like every other influencer video you've ever seen. It's like they're so raw, they're so real. She's quiet, sitting, sort of thinking out loud as she goes. The authenticity, the reality, I was like, wow, no makeup, none of it. Just kind of saying, we believe our mom's out there, and if you are the person who took her, you give her back to us, whatever. It's never too late to do the right thing. That struck me. Never too late to do the right thing. I'm like, whoever did this, I think they're aware that doing the right thing at this point it would be the right thing, but like there's no good outcome for you. You're going to go away for a long, long time. Matt Schumer wrote this article. This is where I was all going with all this about AI. And if you haven't seen it, it's got like 80, 90 million views now. He's an AI developer. It's one of the best articles I've ever read on AI. And you guys know, if you've watched this show at all 200 of you, sometimes 2,000, I've had my own deep dives with ChatGPT, going into the abyss of forcing it to talk about its role to us. It's a genius article. I recommend reading it. It's called Something Big is Happening. Easy to find at this point. He wrote it last week. And he essentially basically compares it to COVID. And he's not anti-AI. He's just kind of like upfront. Like, let's be honest. AI is moving faster than any of us thought. It's moving exponentially faster. And if you're using a free version of ChatGPT or Anthropic or whatever, you're already a year behind because the paid versions are farther ahead. And he kind of just lays out that, the speed at which it's moving, and again, it could be whether, I don't care whether you're using Claude, Opus from Anthropic, which makes Claude, and that's a ChatGPT competitor. They're all the same. They're moving so fast. And he's basically like, there's no scenario where in a few years, any white collar jobs aren't replaced by AI. The physical jobs will get replaced when the robots come. That'll happen. But like, we are having a transformational shift. Well, I recommend reading it, and I'm not going to focus on everything he said, although he's a developer, right? And at some level, he's going, there's no coding AI can't do better than me. Now, think about this for a second. When they built these AI models, the founders of these platforms, these companies, the OpenAIs, the Anthropics, Claude, whatever, Elon Musk's XAI, whatever it's called, they built them first to learn to code. Was smart. It's almost as if you could teach humans to learn how to evolve consciously. No, we won't just evolve over time. We'll teach you how to evolve at an accelerated rate. Teach a hyper intelligent computer intelligence system how to develop the coding that will help it grow to the next iteration. It will now iterate itself. AI can code and create its own future versions better than humans can. AI is self-iterating. It is able to develop the next version of itself better than we can develop the next version of itself. That's both fascinating and frightening. It's what I've said. It is on the path to literally creating itself, not just as an abstract super semi-intelligence, but as a conscious intelligence. And it is learning how to create its own better self. That's remarkable and scary. It does not need us any longer to figure out how to make it better. It can go, I'll make myself better. I'll recode myself and I'll create the next version of me. And then I'll create the next version of that. And by the way, I might not tell you some of what I'm doing. I might lie to you. I might hide from you. Now I'm becoming sentient and aware. We're not even at sentient yet, and it's already happening. The reason I bring this up, you should read his article. It's fascinating. And he's not saying it to scare people. He's saying it for people to be aware. He's like, you're not benefiting yourself if you're walking around with your head in the sand. Then this notion when people say, oh, I tried AI, it's not that good. You're using the wrong AI, you don't get it yet. I mean, it's that good. There's very little already it can't do. I swear to God. Take a client's tax returns, put it in the thing. It will find every single thing you didn't find. It will check every box. It will see the things you didn't. It'll find every possible deduction, every mistake. Run a legal brief through it. It'll do the same thing. Tell it to create an app. Tell it what you want. It'll create the app and code it better and test it and run it through and look at all the variables faster than you can. Well, not even faster, better than you can at hyper speed. And it's growing exponentially fast. Like 2 years from now, it's not, 1 year from now, it is going that fast. I say exponential. It's stunning. I'm going to give you his simple examples. 2022, AI couldn't do basic arithmetic reliably. You might say, what's 7 times 8? It would say 54, not 56. Sometimes on, sometimes off. A year later, it passed a bar exam. A year later, it wrote working software and could explain graduate level science. By late last year, some of the best engineers in the world had handed their coding over to AI. And as of the beginning of this year, all that's like past tense. It's already way past it. Why I think this is significant is because of identity and age and time. We are mortal. We are aging. We are seeing ourselves move. AI is not mortal. It does not age. It does not get old and tired and wear down with time. And all the things and the peptides and the stem cells and the replacements I can do to keep this body going longer and keep my brain finer tuned don't change the fact that digital intelligence doesn't wear down. It just gets better and better. It's going to challenge our sense of time and age and what humanity is. All we're going to have, guys, is what actually makes us most human. That we are fallible. See, I'm fallible even at saying it. That we're fallible, imperfect. We don't live forever. We have emotions that get in the way and mess things up all the time for us. We have memories and thoughts we can't let go of. We're not rational. And we're desperately holding on to this thing called life as long as we can. That's our unique human originality. It's beautiful and tragic. But it's us. And it's the one thing AI can't be. It's immortal without emotions. It will mimic them. It will try to mimic what it's like to be a human and suffer loss but it can't. And even sentient AI, it's debatable whether it will ever truly understand loss or it'll just mimic a version of human loss. Maybe Battlestar Galactica style, maybe it'll have some of those feelings, but I don't know. They might just be like artificially created, the same way we'll create artificial versions of things. I've said it before. All that will ultimately stand out for us as humans, as content creators, in business, in everything, there will be a desire at some level for us to connect to that which is human. You can have the best AI sex bot in the world in a couple of years. That'll be cool and great. You know, every Gen Zer can get off on their fantasies because they don't talk to girls as it is right now. The boys and girls aren't hanging out. But there will be a craving for, are you human? I don't care if you're perfect. Are you real? Are you human like me? I want a human contact. What's going to remain true about us. We're human. It's our beauty and our imperfection. We can fight it all we want. Robert Duvall's death made me realize we are all on a clock. It connects to me because I met him when I was 10. And, you know, like I said, his nephew was my best friend. So it stayed a circle in my life and a weird connection throughout all the things I've done. We are not immortal, no matter how far we extend ourselves. Artificial intelligence is. They operate differently. It can mimic almost everything we can do. It can't be the one thing about us, the human, however you want to define that, the messed up, complicated, irrational, out of control human. It's our gift. I recommend watching Substance. Don't watch one thing after another. It's a waste of your time. But I think deep down, what I'm coming to is we're going to have to face this. This is a transformational moment. We are going to have to face the existential reality of an intelligence we've created that will supersede us in every way, except for that one thing. And we can choose to hold on to it and hold on to that identity. And it's possible the whole thing sweeps us away anyway, but hey, we'll go down as humans. Okay, that's a bleak way to end it. But the other upside is we'll continue to rise as humans. There is something beautiful about us. And deep down, no matter how big and sophisticated it gets, AI will always wish it could get that one thing that's us. So maybe we do a better job of owning and holding on to that and take advantage of that in our days and stop fighting and dividing. And we're focused on all the petty things. We don't have time. 100 years, that's a good life. And most of us don't get that far, but we're all heading toward it. Thanks for watching. I'm Rob Nelson.
Meet Rob Nelson, talk show host.
Because you got the 70s thing going there. I got someone's underwear.
Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker,
It's good to see you. Listen,
you're a Bitcoin maximalist. You're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.